and home sales continue to spike. But our next guest says don't get your hopes up too high. More and more people will be renting next year because their faith in the housing market hasn't been restored. Here with what we can expect for housing in 2014 is Anthony Lolli, CEO of Rapid Realty Franchise. Anthony, welcome to Arise XChange.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we just talked about a poll out there that says most Americans don't believe the economy is improving. That has got to play a factor into the housing market next year.
Absolutely. People are hesitant. They're not buying homes anymore. They're choosing rentals as an option.
And when rentals improve, that typically is a sign that the ownership buying housing is soft.
Well, it is. I mean, it's an artificial market right now. You have private equity, sophisticated investors buying up properties for the specific purpose of renting.
Yeah, Robert Shiller, who is the big housing guru, if you want, and the Case-Shiller Index, has said that we are in an abnormal housing economy. Do you believe it?
It is abnormal, but they're still appreciating in value to the tune of 11 to 13% in some places.
But is that abnormal because we have artificially low interest rates?
It is abnormal. Yes, it is.
What, in your experience, what impact has you seen as interest rates go up? Now, we should say mortgage rates have gone up, but we're still at really historically low averages. You're still borrowing money for about 4.5%.
It is. Money is cheap. And what's happening is Mr. and Mrs. Smith is recognizing that the prices are rising, so they're going to have to bite the bullet and move forward with the property because they're not going to go down in price.
So isn't that encouraging then in the short term that they're going to be able to buy?
This is a buy and hold market. Absolutely. It's not a buying and flipping market. But the concern is an abundance of inventory being released by some of the institutional investors.
There are new banking rules that come out at the turn of the year.
Yes.
That in some ways restrict banks in how they lend money, because now you actually have to be able to prove that you can pay back the mortgage,
yes.
Which is never good when you want to give a lot of mortgages out. There are some reports out that the impact on that is going to be middle-class people and middle-class homes. Do you agree?
I do agree on that. But I think that the rules have always been in place, but now it's to the point where you can be penalized or you can be sued if you're a bank. You can still lend outside of the box, but it's very strict. You have to only 43% loan to value is what you can.
Okay, so going forward into next year, do you see a slide in home prices? Do you still see is it a small pullback? And then a recovery, or do you see that we're really nowhere near close to a sustainable recovery?
Well, there's many factors. There's going to be a small pause because we have a changing of the guards of the Fed. We have a changing of the guards of the FHFA. We have to see what Fannie and Freddie is going to do with the tapering. So all those things.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac,
correct,
which is sort of the quasi-government operations that loan money out there.
Exactly.
Any areas where you would be most cautious?
Not really. I mean, there's hot markets, you know, there's San Francisco, there's New York, but the markets that got hit the worst are the ones that are appreciating in value the fastest.
That's interesting. And then, so that might be the ones to watch out for, as rapid appreciation?
Yes.
Where would you be buying?
I would be buying in Phoenix, some areas of Florida, some places in Texas.
That's interesting you mentioned Florida. Florida has never really been a hot housing market.
No, but it's really overseas investors, foreign investors parking their money. They find it obviously to be safer.
That is a concern for many, that a lot of this housing, substance, improving housing prices is the result of foreign investment dollars coming in, not Mr. and Mrs. Smith buying a home.
Well, you have to pick your poison. You know, better a Munster than an Unster, as they say. It's keeping the economy moving, and at this point, it'll eventually stabilize itself because obviously there's less and less foreclosures because of the tight regulations.
Okay, Anthony Lolli, CEO of Rapid Realty Franchise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it.